I'm Natasha Devon, and just over a year ago I had my first meeting with Mark Newey of Winning Minds. I didn't realise it at the time, but it was a meeting that would completely change my life. For 10 years I'd been carrying around this shameful secret. I was severely bulimic, and it was infecting every area of my life, physically, mentally, financially, and it was a problem that I didn't believe at the time that anybody could help me with. Many people had told me how wonderful Mark and his pioneering methods are, and how he'd freed them from stress, depression and addiction, etc. So I decided to see for myself. Up until this point, I tried every avenue that I could think of, including 6 years of counselling. So I did come to Mark as a bit of a last resort, and I had misconceptions about hypnotherapy, which are the usual sort of things. I thought that Mark would click his fingers and have me believing that I was a chicken. And I also had some doubts as to whether I'd actually go under. The reality is absolutely nothing like that. For a start, what makes Mark unique is that hypnotherapy is just one aspect of what he does. He uses a unique blend of NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, coaching and hypnotherapy, and he calls this Neural Recoding. As far as the hypnotherapy itself is concerned, when you wake up on a Sunday morning and you don't have to go to work and you just lay there and enjoy that feeling of being relaxed, technically you are in a state of hypnosis. It's nothing like they show on TV, it is just a deep feeling of relaxation. So you don't actually undergo any hypnotherapy with Mark until your second session, and it's just cementing his neural recoding process. In the first part, Mark showed me a map of my brain and explained to me the relationship between the conscious and the unconscious. What sets Mark apart from other practitioners who use hypnotherapy is that he's able to explain in layman's terms the highly scientific techniques which are behind it. That's really reassuring, and I soon realised I had absolutely nothing to either doubt or fear. In the next part of the session, Mark asked me some quick-fire questions about my issue. This is his way of directly accessing and getting to understand my unconscious brain. Mark's score technique gives him an insight into my issue without me having to go into detail.
The activity of your brain. But that's the point, that the body and the mind mirror each other, so what's happening in the body tends to mirror what's happening in the mind.
Mark was gleaning vital information about my brain and its unique processes and language. Mark's therapy is minimal content, so unlike other types of conventional therapy, I didn't have to sit there and give him a list of everything terrible that's ever happened to me in my life.
If I ask you to just tell me all about it, I tend to get covered in verbal diarrhea, for want of a better expression. And everybody's the same, because they're saying, well, you know, this happened, and then 2 years ago this happened, and as you'll see, I actually need very little content. I don't need loads and loads of details in order to be able to help you, but I need very specific information.
Mark's philosophy is that whilst other types of conventional therapy like CBT might teach you how to manage your issue on a day-to-day basis, he questions why you should have to have that issue at all. And so he removes the bad unconscious programming from his clients' brains altogether. So in the meantime, after the first part of the neural recoding process, I started to become more aware of my own thought processes and my behaviour. And I started to feel for the first time in my life that my eating disorder was something that I could control, that it was no longer something that was controlling me, and that was a hugely liberating feeling. The important thing to remember about neural recoding is that your brain wants what's best for you. Now, I desperately wanted to get better, and I just needed the tools that Mark provided me with in order to do so. And NLP and hypnotherapy, contrary to popular belief, cannot force you to do something that you don't want to do or that's detrimental to your well-being. Because of the massively powerful experience that I had here at Winning Minds, I now work for Mark, And because I work for him now, I know that he's helped so many people with life-crippling issues: stress, depression, phobias, addiction. The list is endless, and he's got a massively high success rate. And people walk away from these issues in just 4 hours, just like I did. Also, in addition to the one-to-one sessions, which is what I had, Mark does a Liberate Your Life workshops. And what he does there is he takes this wealth of experience which he has had working with his one-to-one clients, in addition to the best therapy training, which is what he's had, and he delivers that in this really powerful seminar over the course of one day. They are absolutely awesome. Now, 1 year on from coming to see Mark, in addition to working for him, I also go around local schools and colleges in my area and give motivational talks about body image. And I'm an ambassador for a nationwide campaign called Body Gossip. And that uses the stories of everyday people and how they feel about their bodies to campaign for more realistic images to be used in the media. Now, that's pretty amazing when you think that just 1 year ago, sometimes I'd be so crippled by insecurity about my own body that I couldn't even leave my flat. I think that Mark is a genius. Mark's very modest, and he'll say that he's not a genius and that he just equips you with the tools that you need to change your life, that you want to make the changes and you don't know how. And I agree with him to a certain extent, but I still think he's a genius. I had just 2 two-hour sessions with Mark, and those allowed me to make the changes I needed to turn my life around. I've been free from bulimia nervosa since August 2008, and I'm completely confident that I will never give in to an eating disorder again. I am healthier and happier than I ever imagined I could be. To see a selection of testimonials by those whose life has been transformed and enhanced by Mark, visit www.winningminds.co.uk.